It's not this time, right?
Not this time.
Well, welcome to your, as Mr. Fitness 2 likes to say, your new Thursday night tradition. Exactly. We have got... I kid fitness. We've got Mr. John Mosier and the man of the hour.
The Tower of Power.
The Tower of Power.
So sweet, he's not sour.
As the Mangler said today, Angel's got Hollywood. So Angel's with us today on our program. And
I don't even know who the Mangler is. I'm so far up the food chain. Can wasn't he Brian Hobbs' gopher or something?
That is awesome. I don't even know who he is.
He was the gopher for the gopher.
That is fantastic.
Kind of like I am when you're around, Angel. I'm the gopher for your gopher.
There you go.
So
I don't mind. I get associated with Angel. It's cool, you know.
So
you say I know him, so.
So what we're going to get to your news of being with and this is kind of strange that Angel's podcast is going to be with Vince Russo, who ironically was on this show a month ago. So it's kind of a strange thing, but I want to start like we always start with everybody. How in the hell did you get started in the wrestling business, brother? I know a little bit about this, but I don't know the whole story.
For all the years you know me, you don't know the whole story?
I don't know the whole story, man.
Well,
it changes all the time.
It was a long time ago on a dark, stormy night. No, I mean, basically
far, far away.
Yeah, in the library with Colonel Mustard and the candlestick. But
wow, that's a great reference.
I love that. That's awesome, dude.
No, I mean, it started with Johnny Rods. I was 17, and it's Brooklyn, New York. 17-year-old kid who was interested in pro wrestling and wanted to get involved in pro wrestling. And then I got into looking around. This is before the internet, so you had to send out your information, over, letters. So I sent out for Stampede. I remember, what was his name? Oh my God, Adorable Adrian Street. He had a school out there in Gulf Breeze, Florida. I got like these pamphlets. I remember all these pamphlets I got from other companies.
Awesome.
The schools out there. So,
that's awesome.
But I watched, basically I was watching Good Night New York, and one of the segments was Johnny Rods in the ring, and they said it was based out of Brooklyn, New York at Gleason's Gym, and that's where I was like, oh shit, there's one in New York City, so I went over there.
Wow. So, how do you, how long, because this is the thing that we always, one of the things we talked about, ironically with the Mangler one week, was the fact that some of these wrestling schools, they just throw people on shows sometimes. How long was it after you trained that you put you on a show?
Well, back in the days, Johnny used to have school shows. So basically just to get your feet wet, not book you in actual shows. So he used to throw these school shows. We didn't make no money. We had to sell tickets and, friends and family and so on and so forth. And then once we got back, got back from all these shows, then we definitely were able to do actual shows that we got paid. But basically all the shows were at Gleason's Gym.
Wow. So who were some of the folks you worked with as you were coming up? Or are they basically nobody that made it? So we wouldn't know who they are anyway.
It was like Big Sal, Graciano, Devon, Prince Nana, Tiger Khan, he passed away, Matt Stryker. I'm just trying to remember all the people that were there, awesome. In there. Matt Stryker, Big Vito, of course, always. That's it, really. I mean, as far as the people who made it, those are the people, like Big Cass and all those guys were after the fact.
That's awesome. We have got Angel Medina with us today. You know him from ECW, ironically, the banner behind him. And he also, there it is. He also has a great podcast. You have quite the deal with wrestling with tragedy, and we're gonna get to that a little bit later because you have a pretty cool announcement that you've made. You're going to be going to doing some stuff with Russo and all them. So how in the world do you end up in ECW?
Well, I mean, basically the true story is it was kind of by accident. When people say kind of how that happened was, basically we were working out in the ring, and there was a friend of mine named Jabba Shabibi. He was a manager. His gimmick was, like an Arabic gimmick, and he was the manager of Saturo. He looked just like the Iron Sheik. So
That's
one day
awesome.
we're just hanging out in Gleason's, working out in the ring, and he said, I say, hey man, what you doing this weekend? And he says, I'm going to Philadelphia, man. Devon's been inviting me to come down to try out as a referee. So this was like a Tuesday. So I said, that's cool, man. That's cool. I'm happy you're going down there, driving down to Philly, getting your feet wet. So then, let's say it was I think it was like a Thursday after that. I say, hey, man, this weekend you're going to Philadelphia, man. It's almost here. And he goes, oh, dude, I don't know, man. My car's acting up. I really don't know if I'm able to go. And I said, why? He goes, because my car's not working right, and I don't think it's going to make the trip. And I said, well, hey, if it's okay with Devon, I'll be happy to take you down there. He goes, well, let me talk to Devon. So he spoke to Devon, and Devon said, well, Angel is more than welcome to come. Just tell him to bring his gear, and then, just come down and work out. So I went down. I worked out with Guido. I remember it was me and Guido. We had a match. And then after the workout, and the way it was set up is that before a show, Tracy Smothers used to get all the boys in the ring and stretch and, run the ropes and just like a basic workout. So that's how the reason I was working out with Guido. So then after the match, I was going to the back, and Paul was like, as soon as you walk through the curtain, the first person you'll see sitting as a table, and it's Paul Heyman, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam. And Paul's talking to him. You could tell he was going over their match for the evening. And he looks up and he's like, and he tells him, hey, hold on a second. Hey, kid, come here. And I walked up there and said, yes, sir. And he goes, hey, I like what I saw. And he's still thinking. I could tell he was thinking about the match with Sabu and Rob. And he goes, just stick around, kid. Stick around. And I was like, huh? He goes, just stick around. So the first thing I did is run to Devon. Hey, Devon, I don't understand what Paul's talking about. He said he liked what he saw and he wanted me to stick around. And he nodded his head and he closed his eyes and he said, brother, if Paul tells you to stick around, you stick around. And I said, D, but I don't understand, Angel. Just shut up. Trust me, just stick around. And that's how it just panned out. I just kept coming to the shows.
That's awesome. Now, I know a few years ago, we were at a, I think it was it a Hooters? I don't know. It was a Hooters or a Twin Peaks or whatever in Wichita. And you were telling me this story about getting screwed over on royalties by WWE with action figures of the video games or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, basically, I mean, when the ECW folded, I mean, they were still selling, the video game, the action figures. I mean, the action figure of the Baldies were never finished. Apparently, they were going to be done, and we saw the dynamics of it, like a prototype. Yeah, but it was not really being manufactured, so it's probably somewhere in somebody's warehouse somewhere, or in a basement and somewhere. But anyway, so we just never got royalties, meaning I never signed a contract with ECW. I never signed away my rights. That's why, for example, Vince doesn't come after me because he doesn't own the, my name is Angel. It's my real name. Right. So he can't say I can't use it. And the Baldies thing, he can't tell me cease to desist because I never signed a contract. And we kind of own the Baldies. We never signed away the rights to the Baldies. So that's why he can't come in. I mean, now that I'm putting it out to him, I'm like, hey, he goes to his Jewish lawyers. Hey, we gotta make some money off this shit. So
Jewish lawyers, that's fantastic.
Gotta have a Jew lawyer, man. You can't have no regular lawyer. A Jew, a good with teeth.
Wow.
That's the truth. You're gonna get a lawyer, but you gotta get a Jew lawyer with teeth.
Gotta watch out, you're in the same boat that Deshaun Jackson is.
Fuck him.
I'm just joking, dude.
So
Bring it on. I love controversy.
Angel's an equal opportunity offender to
That's
everybody.
right.
He doesn't treat anybody special
right.
about it.
I treat everybody equally worthless.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying, That's what I like about him,
So how do you end up in Kansas, of all places, after doing all this stuff?
Well,
Did you say statute of limitations or something, and they wouldn't find you here?
nobody comes to Kansas. Everybody leaves Kansas. No, but seriously, it was more like a fluke. Apparently, after September 11th, I was working for IWA, Victor Quinones' promotion. Me and Dutch Mantel, the story about Dutch Mantel. We don't get along. Fuck him. And hope he dies. I'll put it out there. Fuck him. Fuck him. And apparently I was just kind of pissed off. So when September 11th happened, one of my buddies over here was like, hey, they called me to see if I was okay. And when they found out, I was like, man, dude, I'm not in New York. I'm in Puerto Rico. And they were like, hey, why don't you just come down here and hang out, instead of going all the way to New York with all the, the chaos and anarchy. Let things cool off and just hang out in Wichita, So I just changed my plane ticket and just flew down and hung out. And then I'm like, yeah, I like it. The white women are easy. They love this dark meat. It's like a novelty.
Oh, my God.
They're tired of vanilla.
That is fantastic. Well,
I think that's when I met you at Gold's Gym or whatever. I think you were just in there and stuff. One of the guys that was the trainer at Gold's Gym was like, hey, you're like a wrestling freak, aren't you? I was like, oh, yeah. He goes, there's a dude back there. I was like, oh, holy shit, that's the dude Angel from the Baldies and ECW. Like that, and you couldn't have been cooler. I think you were more surprised that I was that much of a freak that I knew exactly who the hell you were right then.
Well, I still get like, when people come up to me and say, hey, are you so-and-so? I pop for it more than they pop over seeing me because I'm like, yeah, I don't consider myself nobody special, but, it's just fun when they recognize me, and I'm like, hey, man, fuck it, it's cool,
What I always
it's part of, gotta stay humble.
What I always thought was funny was way back in the day when I started hanging out with Mr. Mike Gooseby, he used to tell me, he's like, I know Angel. I'm like, Angel? And he's like, from ECW? We're boys. I know Angel. And
I wonder what happened to him.
And then one time I mentioned to you, I said, Mike Gooseby. And you're like, who? And so then I had to get a hold of Gooseby. And I said, Angel didn't even know who you are. And he goes, what? And then he starts, doing his usual stuff.
The problem is that my circle of friends is really short. Like you guys are my friends. And my God. I mean, I have because everybody's like, how many people I meet and then they go, hey, man, how you doing, man? Was it, the last time I saw you? And I'm like, yeah, I remember. And I just keep fishing for you bought me the Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember now.
I just keep fishing.
I just keep fishing. But I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just so many people I know.
Dude.
Yeah, so I'm
actually going all over the place.
Well, that too. So
I only remember people who keep in contact with me, basically,
So you end up Wichita, and then you're wrestling some indie stuff, and then you were doing some podcast stuff, and now you're doing the podcast thing again. So tell me about how this all leads in to you hooking up with Russo and them.
Well, I mean, the original podcast at the time was, it was with my friend Mark, and it was called Wrestle Out Loud, and he was a good guy. It's just that his commitment issues were just we were at the pinnacle of when podcast was podcast. They were going, I can't even remember the sites we used to go to off the top of my head, but it was like when, it's just like an AOL when you had to use dial-up and stuff like that. How podcasts used to be going. I forgot the website you had to go through. But anyway, Mark was a good guy. He knew production. He was just not committed enough. One minute he's fine, the next minute, pussy pulls more than a tugboat. And he was just always getting hooked up with women, and then kind of...
You've got some great lines, by the way.
kept putting us in the back burner, man. And, so I finally got fed up. I'm not mad at him. It's just that we kept taking 2 steps forward, 18 steps back philosophy.
Yes.
So he's a great guy. Like if he put his mind to it, we would have been one of the, I can't say top podcasts, but you know, if you started in the beginning when podcast was happening, you would have been one of the top guys.
Yeah.
You know, like basically like a founding father. I don't know, but so anyway, I hooked up with Pierce Austin from Australia, great guy, and Kevin Rodriguez. I did with Pierce. I did his show called Shooting the Shit Uncensored. He wanted me to come on, and we did, you know, same questions and answers. You know, what I like, wrestling topics. So after the show, we really hit it off, and then I hooked up with his friend Kevin, who has a podcast called The War Room, who's pretty popular. So as we were sitting down, not sitting down, but talking about like, you know, hey, Angel, how come you don't do a podcast? And of course, I explained about, you know, Wrestle Out Loud, and they go, well, you should get back into it. And then I said, well, I didn't want to do a regular podcast of the same old questions. Like, hey, this is the Kingpin, and right now we have Big Vito LaGrasso. Vito LaGrasso, can you tell us how you got into professional wrestling? Well, motherfucker, I already know. I've been there. You know, I was part of it. And I just didn't want to regurgitate the same topics that everybody else does.
That too. And that's one of the things like with you tonight. I wanted to keep the whole how you got into the business thing, and that worked because we kept it short and everything, because realistically everybody knows, you know, all about your ECW time and everything. So yeah, that was excellent. But so you guys end up you get this show put together.
Yeah, well, basically the show, we wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something unique, and we figured that Wrestling with Tragedy is just focusing on the topics that are hot today, meaning like the Chris Benoit stories, the Eddie Guerrero stories, the Ring Boy stories of WWE and WF at the time. All the scandals, you know, all the things that we are not afraid to talk about. We, like us. And of course, like I said, they don't rock the boat. You know me, I'm the most controversial guy. I don't give two shits if I get fucking Triple H pissed off. I don't give a fuck if, you know, Dutch Mantel dies of a heart attack and I'm the one that gave him the whammy. Fuck it, you know. But I just like to poke the bear, because right now Vince ain't gonna be knocking on my door. Right now, nobody's gonna be like giving me a 6-figure contract. So I'm just gonna be the fucking Morton Downey Jr. of professional wrestling. Fucking just rock the boat and see who I piss off, and just try to make the show the hottest show out there and the most unique show out there.
That's awesome. So, how did this Russo thing happen?
Shit, I don't know. I can't remember now. No, seriously, it just what happened was I spoke to Vito, and I was asking his opinion, and you know, he goes, well, you know Vince Russo. I mean, you met him. I said, yeah, I was 17. I mean, he probably don't even remember me. We only had like not even a 5-minute conversation, because he was talking to Johnny most of the time. He goes, well, you know him. So he goes, why don't you just reach out to him and see if he'd be interested in having you on the show, but make sure that you refresh his memory of who you are. So I, you know, gave him a big story, you know, the story that, you know, he came down to Gleason's with Vito. I'm one of Vito's boys, Johnny's boys. You met me, we hung out, you know, and then I was interested in bringing our brand to your show. And sorry, I saw a glitch on my screen.
No, that's good. No, you're good.
Yeah, a brand to your show, and we were interested in coming on, and hopefully you'd be interested in us. So after we sold him the idea, he was like, okay, you know, I'll give you a shot. So I mean, it was just a good old conversation of a joint venture. You know, he's a great guy.
Oh yeah, he's a great dude.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
when we had him on, I think we talked for an hour, and I think we talked wrestling for 20 minutes.
An hour and a half almost, and I think it's only about 10 minutes worth of wrestling talk.
Yeah, the rest of it was music and life,
baseball,
and everything else. So,
trying to figure out how he ended up in Southern Indiana to go to college, and
so. He's a hell of a dude, so I think that's cool that you're doing this.
I mean, yeah, he's the same dude. I mean, I met a long time ago. I mean, he's just a little more richer and a little more older. But the thing is, it was the same person I met. Oh my God, over 20-something years ago, And like I said, we've really kind of hit it off. I mean, this is all through emails and stuff like that because he's very busy and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but he was always answering my emails because, again, I guess the connection with Gleason's and Vito, he was just like, this is not a local jabroni, you know. So he was always willing to reach out to me and hear the story out. But anyway, he was pretty excited. He really loved the concept of the show, and he was like, let's do it. You know, let's get them together. As long as are you committed to the Vince Russo brand, you're not going to just come on and bail on me. And I said, dude, I'm a man of my word. We want to build our brand, and we know that this is the vehicle to be with, and we want to be under your banner.
That's awesome.
You know? But there's no money involved. This is just an opportunity just to get more viewers. And then one day, I will be in the Jiggy Jaguars, illustrious fold of rich people. Drinking in.
Drink it in.
Gold card. Drink it in, man.
Well, one of the, like I said earlier today when I was talking to our pal, Mr. Mangler, he was he mentioned to me, which I don't know how I bring this up without, and I know at some point you're gonna end up cutting a big time promo here. Jesus, you know, we had porn Jesus, not on this show but on the Sunday show at one point. And
he's cool as hell too.
It was great. Lance starts laughing about the Facebook rant you went out on Dan a few years ago. Do you remember this?
Well, you just like kind of like opened up the.
how much heat you?
Even John's like, oh, here we go.
I'm like, oh god. He doesn't like drama at all.
No,
so.
I don't like drama.
Well, I'm not. You know me, man. I'm not gonna eat nobody's shit. And again, I'm not mad at Dan.
I understand you.
I'm not mad at Dan.
I'm just a bad joke with him.
Okay, the situation is this. Through the years I know Dan, I always cut him a deal. And he was always like, brother, you know, like, I could hear the violins playing in the background saying, brother, you know, money's tight, you know, we can't afford it, you know, it would really mean a lot to me if you could do it for this much. And then I'm like, all right, brother, I'll do it, you know. And then every time I did a show, he's like, brother, let's just use a round number. Let's use $300. Let's just use that. Dude, I'll only pay you $300. Okay, that's fine. You know, that works.
Well, yeah.
And then the next show, he's like, oh, brother. I only can pay you $383. I mean, $283. And then it just kept going down and down, man. And then all of a sudden, he gets Abyss, gets him a limo, pays him $1,000, gives him a nice hotel, and I'm not even asking for much.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for like $1,000. I'm not even asking for $350, but just stick to what you promised me. If he would have said, Angel, all I can pay you from this point on is $200 flat.
Yeah.
I would have accepted it. But every time he kept pulling the heist button, and every time he kept bringing other people in, he's dropping coin. He's like Scrooge McDuck, just dropping gold doubloons out of the sky. Everybody's catching it, and it's just landing around me like I got the plague. Like I'm not able to get any finance. I said, and then I just got mad because I just felt that he was taking our friendship and taking advantage of it. Because like I said, Jiggy, if you're doing a show and say, Angel, I can only pay you $50.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I'll take it. But if I'm on the same show and you fucking hire a fucking Loki, no offense, Loki, you just popped in my head, and you pay him $600, then that's not fair, man. You're just insulting me. You kind of spit in my face.
Yeah.
You know? Now, if you would have came up to me and said, hey, brother, I know I said I promised you 50. This is the 50 I owe you. But I want to bring in Loki. I promised him 600. I promise I'll take care of you on the back end. I just don't want to insult you. Talk to me, motherfucker. Talk to me. You know? All the years you know me, I had never been that difficult with you. You know? But that was it. So basically, you know, after I blew up, and this is years. This is years of being, you know, building. I just fucking just said, fuck it. And I just napalmed his whole fucking federation. I should have worn one of those fucking like William Dafoe, not William Dafoe, fucking from Apocalypse Now, where the fucking Yankee, the fucking cavalry had and go, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. So it was like, because that shit just came across his fucking ring like an explosion, you know. And then his wife, which he's no longer with, she got involved, and I'm like, bitch, you're not in the business. Keep selling those hot dogs and T-shirts in the back. Don't get involved in a man's conversation. And you know, if I want your advice, I'll ask you how to season a roast, and I'll take that to the fucking.
I think that was his biggest problem back in the day was her, because she would sit there and piss off more people than anybody.
Because she was, and again, I'm not trying to knock her. I mean, she didn't know.
Yeah,
But she was just like, she was living off the Dan hype, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Dan's wife. I could act the way I want to act and treat you guys the way I want to treat you. Wrong nigga.
You're black?
I'm blind.
Really?
Holy shit, this is a revelation, dude.
Revelation.
I didn't know that.
We didn't know Angel was black.
Oh my God.
One of the things that I remember, and I found it the other day when I was going through YouTube, an old match that Angel had with, I believe it was Mike DiBiase, out there in Hoisington. What,
I remember that.
What did you think, old Mike DiBiase? Because I'll tell you, when that guy showed up, he looked like he was, he looked like a pro wrestler. And then it was like after the show was over with, he didn't want to take photos. He didn't want to sign autographs. And I know at one point Rick Steiner was on that show, and Rick was watching him do all that.
That was a different one.
Well,
DiBiase was the only guy that was... DiBiase and Angel were the only two, because I was there on that one.
Well, I knew there was somebody that, and it might not have been Rick Steiner, was somebody that was watching all this. And they were standing there, and they were like...
He's just bringing it up because he knows that was the day... Rick Steiner, I could close my eyes. It was Rick Steiner, Hardcore Holly, because he beat the brakes off of fucking Jammer.
Yeah.
And Jerry Lynn was there. And
Al Snow. Yeah, Butch Reed. I'm trying to remember who else was there.
Dude, everybody remembers who was there because when Jammer got his ass kicked, sorry, Jammer, Jiggy brought it up. It was like in the movie Frozen. When that happened, everybody was like, oh, shit. Jammer, I felt so bad for him because I'm laughing now because it's funny. But back then, I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. And then Hollywood came up to me and go, what the fuck is up? Because he froze. He froze in the ring. And he's asking me like, dude, what the fuck was wrong with your boy? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. He froze, I guess.
Yeah, but Holly was so used to working a much different pace and style on things. Yeah. And they really didn't go over much beforehand. And I think that was the biggest problem on that one. Because Holly was cool as hell to me like that. So was Al Snow, Jerry Lynn, all of them. Butch Reed. Butch Reed is freaking hilarious.
Oh, yeah, it was all. I still got the pictures, but the thing is, Jammer was like, that's the day Jammer quit. That is the day.
Yeah, he got kind of fed up with the whole thing then.
Yeah, he was like, I remember he goes, I'm done. I quit. I said, come on, you come. Easy, brother. You're not going to quit. Just let it go.
Easy, bro.
It happens. You froze. It is what it is. He was like, I guess the beating. I mean, I can't even say it was a beating because I wasn't in the ring, but it looked like, yeah, he, from where I was standing up, it looked like an episode of Roots. It was just like a...
Wow. No, you're right. I was out there ringside. It was just like, I think he wanted to hit back, but I think he was also thinking like, okay, if he's hitting me like this, and we're just supposed to be working, I don't know if I want to sit there and try it, Kind of a look on his face at the time. But, yeah, it was like, I mean, you could tell both of them were getting frustrated. I was there, and...
I think Jammer would be able to take him. I mean, I'll be honest.
I think he could have. I think he could have sit there and gone toe to toe with them for a while, but I just don't think Jammer knew exactly and wasn't quite sure and didn't want to screw everything up for everybody and stuff. Yeah. So
he didn't want to cross that line. Yeah, he's just
exactly.
I would have fought. I like hardcore. I mean, he's cool, but if it was me, I would have definitely went boots the asses.
Well, I remember when I met him at a Comic-Con in Kansas City a few years ago, and he...
Do they still have those nowadays since COVID has been wreaking havoc?
They're not doing the Comic-Con this year in Kansas City. I know
we're going to be saying that 30 years from now. Remember back then when they used to have Comic-Cons? Now everything's virtual.
Oh, shit, man, you just got 2020.
Well, that's like there's people that think they're gonna have there's some wrestling organizations that think they're gonna do shows in October, and I'm like, no. No, no, no! You're not doing shows with fans in October, bud.
Hey, you guys are old enough. Remember back in the days in the wrestling magazines, they used to have this not virtual wrestling. It was like this wrestling match where you could kind of put your moves of what you're gonna do,
I
and
remember those.
Oh yeah.
and you mail it in to That's how shows are gonna be now. You just write down on a sheet your moves in the number order, and then the other guy does the same thing, and then I guess who beats by the numbers, It's stuff like that. Yeah, I used to subscribe to that shit, man. My tag team was Linguini LOD, Linguini over LOM, Linguini over Meatballs. That's the name of my tag.
Into a problem. That would help. Back from the PC reboot. Okay. We're back from the PC reboot. But I've now got to go into the shenanigans here. See, it's gotta continue now, continue later. I'm gonna continue now and then continue later, or something. I don't know. They say running multiple instances of Winamp, or not Winamp, but Cool Edit is not advised. Cool Edit, of course, is the only program that Peter Questguard. There's only one man in the history of the business who bought Cool Edit, and it was a gentleman by the name of Peter Questguard. And then he let everybody and their brother have it for free. And then Cool Edit didn't make any money, and they had to sell out to Adobe, and now Adobe makes everybody pay $300 a year to access their stuff. That's what happens when Peter Questguard gets involved. Okay. I think I can join the call. Can I join the call? Will it let me? I don't know. It might let me.
Guys.
There we are.
And we have
I'm back. Yay! I'm back! Yay!
Okay, so we got Madison Square Garden, and then, that's why I saw Victor Quinones, and we talked. And then Paul was there, and then I left. I think this was like in May or June, and then I left Puerto Rico in July.
Okay. Did you work for WWC too while you're down there, or just IWA?
No, the only way you work for, it was kind of like a flip-flop thing. Like, if you was working for IWA, and let's say you were working for them for a year or two, and then they let you go, and then you go to WWC, work with them for 2-3 years, and then you go back to IWA. It was like a, back and forth type of thing. Okay, but you never did cross. Yeah, you didn't do like some cross promotion thing.
Yeah, I remember because I remember the day that I seen Shane Sewell at Genesis. Mm-hmm. Glamour Boy Shane like that, and I was trying to make sure it was him or not. I was like, you're the ref on TNA, and you were like the big star down in Puerto Rico and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah. So we're talking for a few seconds. I go, now, did you work? I go, which one did you work for? And he goes, well, I worked for both and stuff. I go, okay, well, you probably know Angel Medina, right? And he's like, oh, yeah. I go, well, he's here in town. He's like, you're kidding me. So I gave him your phone number, and he called you like that, and you're like, it's probably John in there marking out or something. He's like, yeah, it was him like that. And it was just like I was cracking up because I knew you'd say that. But
yeah, no, he's a good dude, man. I had some great matches with him. He's a hell of a worker. I was so disappointed they didn't really use him to like I said, right. He's awesome. I mean, I think he was on my Facebook, but I haven't seen him.
I used to have him on the Facebook too, but I don't know what. I haven't seen anything from him at all.
He lives in Canada, and I think he goes back and forth to Puerto Rico, but
well, he had a kind of a junk hauling business or something, or down in Florida for quite a while.
I thought it was I thought that was Kid Cash.
No, that was him.
There we are.
Mm.
Okay.
Hey, you back?
I can be heard now.
Yay.
I love technology, but then sometimes it fails, and when it fails, it's not good.
One of those things, you know, if you just didn't stream so much porn, Jiggy, it probably wouldn't
Well,
ever reach your computer,
that too. I've been doing a lot of work on Pornhub fairly recently, so I've had to get things going there on the old Pornhub site. So that's
What, you doing something on Pornhub?
well, someone did a targeted
stuff.
someone did a targeted attack on my YouTube channel a couple weeks ago, and reported all my porn videos and was making all these nasty comments, and so I just decided, well, we're just gonna do this. I'm just gonna remove all the porn interviews from YouTube. We'll just go put them on Pornhub. I'll re-embed stuff to the website. We'll just do it that way. So that's basically what I've been doing the last couple weeks. But when I came back in, you were talking about Puerto Rico, and that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. Is it as crazy as everybody says it is?
I love Puerto Rico. I love wrestling there. It is crazy, but it's a more of a scientific wrestling of old school wrestling that I just loved. It was just something so simple and really got the fans involved. You know, like you could just like get a headlock and 2 elbows to the stomach, and then the guy runs and you pull him back in by pulling his hair. It's just really like, it was old school.
Because I've seen some old, you know, Puerto Rico stuff, or seen some of these different things, and it looks like wrestling, but like last week we had Dusty Wolf on, and he said it's as crazy as it is. So like with you, you're like,
like the way I looked at Puerto Rico was, it was kind of like a less clusterfuck of Memphis, because it seemed like the same thing. Memphis did a lot of stuff, but you never knew what the hell or where they were going. At least with the Puerto Rican wrestling, you knew where they were going with something, you know.
No, they had some good storylines. Like I said, it was fun. It was just exciting. I had a great time, great bunch of guys. I mean, and like I said, it's just the outcome of that was just me and Dutch was not seeing eye to eye, and I was just not gonna eat nobody's shit, especially after ECW. I was just kind of bitter, so I was just like, fuck him, you know. I'll pour battery acid all over his feet.
Now, I have to ask, because someone made a comment on the old the Facebook. Apparently, you must have got your head split open by a chair. Is there a story to this?
Oh, it was back in the old days of. I was wrestling for a company called LIWF. I mean, I was known as the Spanish Angel at the time, and one of the guys. Kid USA, Armand Cesare, he was the guy who played Mickey Rourke's stunt double in The Wrestler.
Wow.
The angle was that he was supposed to spin me around and hit me in the head with a chair. And instead of me taking the full shot, I kind of tipped my head forward, and the lip of the chair split me open. You've seen the scar on the back of my head.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the scar that I have. That's a little gift from Armand. But he felt so bad. I mean, like I said, we're buddies, and we were buddies. We traveled all around the East Coast, up and down, you know, to Maine and all the way down. And when he hurt me, he was like, he felt so bad. I mean, he was literally, basically not in tears, but you could see he hurt more. He was hurting more than I was. And I said, bro, it's okay. It's part of the business. You know, because out of all his buddies, he hurt me, and he didn't. That was the least he wanted to do. So, but you know, I love the guy. You know, he didn't do it on purpose. I was just laughing. I'm like, damn, dude, it's okay. It's good for the business.
It's good for the business. So, a couple months ago, we did a cool little deal here where I got a hold of Crowbar, and I had.
Oh yeah.
We had Crowbar on.
Well, didn't Angel end up being in there on with us?
Yes.
Yeah, I was there.
Yes. What are some of your memories of Crowbar back in wrestling days?
Well, at the time, I mean, he was Devin Storm, and he had blonde hair. I mean, he was a cool guy. He's the same dude now that he was back then. Very cool, very laid back.
Yeah.
Like I told you before, he was the one that told me like education's important. He told me to go to school. You know, like he wasn't telling me to go to school, but we were just sitting down saying, dude, you know, you have to put some investment in your career because this wrestling thing is not going to last forever. And I didn't pay him no mind. I'm not going to lie. I wish I would have took his word, heed his word. But, you know, when you're in the dream sequence of the wrestling world, you know, then, you know, you just don't see it. You don't see it. You're so just engulfed in wrestling, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot of people around here that are engulfed in the what is the deal with Jesus? You popped Jesus up here a few times.
That's my favorite doll, man.
It's not a doll, it's an action figure.
I've got a Jesus action figure. It's hanging on the wall here in the studio. I bought one years ago. That's fantastic.
Out of all the Jesus stuff, this is the one thing I treasure. This one and my Kingpin statues.
Those are pretty freaking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a story behind those?
No, I mean, I bumped into the guy on Twitter. I saw his work, and I was like, holy shit, because he did Tommy Dreamer, he did Sandman, Raven, and he did Son of Havoc from Lucha Underground, and he's just a hell of an artist. So when I reached out to him, we just kind of hit it off, and of course he charged me for it, but not the normal rate.
That's awesome.
Oh, that must have been really huge. Of Tommy Dreamer, he did. God.
Well, the problem is this. This is the funny thing. You know the guy from now I forgot his name. Shit, he's in WWE as the artist. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Rob Schamberger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rob.
Perfect example. When Rob Schamberger was in the beginning of his career, he was always reaching out to me. He goes, "Hey, Angel, I'd be very interested in painting a portrait of you and DeVito." And I did the typical, brother, right now I'm kind of busy, but definitely get back to me. So he did like the Cats in the Cradle song. Every time I was just always busy. Finally, when his shit was kicking off and I reached out to him and said, "Hey, brother, I'm available now." Well, right now, I'm kind of booked. I'm with WWE. And he wasn't being mean, but it's true. When he had time, I was pushing him to the side because I was too busy.
Yeah.
And now when I have time, he's pushed me to the side because he's too busy. So I realized that was a lesson learned. Because now he's famous, now he's with WWE and he's doing all these things. I would have been one of the front runners of his artistic creativity, just like a Picasso. I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So the same thing with these statues. He's starting out a business. He's making these great statues. I won't be surprised WWE picks him up. And then if he does get picked up or whatever, I could say, well, I was one of the first to have his work. That's why I kind of felt bad for, I still reach out to him and he goes, "Let my agent call your agent and we'll get something put together." So as you see, my agent is reaching out to you.
That's great. Well,
I'm available.
I see that guy every year at that Planet Comic-Con, and he has one of the most just well-trafficked booths over there. People are buying his stuff like crazy. In fact, one year we were over there and he literally sold out of everything by the time Saturday had rolled around and there was still a Sunday, and he's like, "I'm probably just going to pack up and go home Sunday." So, yeah, that guy, he
know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get on Facebook right now and see if he, and this is live right now on Facebook Live. I'm going to reach out to Rob Schamberger and see if he will. There he is. Art of Rob. Send a message.
Artist Rob.
Art of Rob. Schemberger. I'm gonna send him a message. Look, I'm not lying. These are look right there. These are all. This is in. What year is this? This is June 8th of 2015.
Wow.
And look, it goes right here. This is June 8th of 2015, and I'm just going back in time. Let's do the Wayne's World. Hey, Rob, I have a question. Know you're busy with other projects, but I wanted to know if you had any time to do the Baldies for me. And this is what he said. Man, I wish I could. WWE has me booked solid through the end of the year already. And I said, it's cool, man. I understand. But if you ever have an opening, would you remember me? So I really want to get this done. I love your work. For sure. That is in 2015. This guy's solidly booked. You know. So
just
never
a month ago and say, hey, I got your message, and I'll get back to you pretty as quick as I can. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Might be 2025, Angel, but I'll get back to you. I promise.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I just sent him a message. Rob, I don't want to put big old message. He never looks at it. Rob.
So, what did you think of all the indie guys and everybody a couple weeks ago getting outed and Me Too'd and everything?
Let me get comfortable. Okay, so you want...
I'm
okay,
kind of scared that smile he had on his face.
I know.
Do you want the Jiggy Jaguar version of the politically correct, or do you want the Kingpin version
I
of how I truly feel?
want Angel Medina. I want the former ECW guy. That's what I want. It's the Thursday Night Wrestling show. That's what I want.
What I think of in regards to this calling out movement, or is that it's to me it's bullshit, because the fact is this: it took you all these years to come out. I do feel sorry for you if this did happen to you, but why wait all these years?
Well,
why wait all of a sudden when there was no... Right now, to this point, let's say 3 years ago, 4 years ago, now there is no evidence. There is no proof. There is no police record. And all of a sudden, these people are saying, like, making these allegations. And the problem is, that's the word, allegations. And people are losing their jobs without the due process of an investigation, of looking into these matters before they even consider firing that person. All these things of, like... oh, he did this, and oh, he touched me here. Show me the Carfax. Show me something that you're showing me that this happened. I'm not stuttering. Tourette's is just kicking in. But that's what I'm saying. It's just that I feel bad for these girls and guys that it happened to them in their lives. But come on, man. All these years later, now you're bringing it up. Oh, he touched me. He did this to me.
Yeah.
And put it this way. No offense to none of these women, but you put yourself in those situations where you could have said no. You could have left.
Well,
nobody degrades you, and you have 2 legs to walk away. Why? I just felt like I had to do it. No, bitch. You have a voice.
Well,
if you feel awkward, and you feel comfortable, keep a stepping.
Well, and there's some people that I've talked to that are like Joey Ryan, the guy that everybody he wanted everybody to touch his dick and do all sorts of stuff with his dick. Oh my God, that guy sexually harassed people?
But that's the thing. If you knew that was his gimmick, and he came up to you just like in any wrestling show, says, "Hey, I have a spot. Duck the clothesline, duck the elbow, arm drag, penis of death," or whatever he calls it. Cock-a-doom, or whatever he calls it.
Cock-a-doom, yes.
Oh, how many times, John, we've been in the locker room, and I'm not saying you, for example,
yeah,
but
I know
like,
what you mean.
You're sitting there and you go, "Hey, man, I'm going to come in, slide in the ring, kick you in the stomach, hit you in the chair," and then you go, "No, I'm not doing that." Right? There's either yes, exactly. I'm going to do it, or no, I'm not going to do it. So it's the same fucking thing. Joey Ryan is nobody special. No offense, Joey Ryan. I'm just saying. He's not Triple H. He's not Hulk Hogan. He's not the president of the United States that will ruin your career. I'm just saying. You could have said no, but you decided to do it because you were afraid that maybe this will affect your career.
Yeah.
And I just think it's bullshit. I just think a lot of them, not all of them, is fabricated.
Well, and he came through Salina a few times and wrestled up there for Kansas Wrestling Revolution. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. So I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff that people have. But
you know what the funny thing about this is? That this is where the controversy begins. Vince McMahon, Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, all firing all these people. From the guys in the UK, from all these other guys with fucking... and Triple H goes into this meeting. We do not condone this type of fucking act in the World Wrestling Federation or the World Wrestling Entertainment. Yes. We would not tolerate this sort of behavior. But fucking Vince McMahon has a story about him fucking in the tanning salon with one of the female refs back in the old days. What about the Pat Patterson story about the fucking young boys? But he's still working in there.
That too. You know? He's still giving them finishes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally,
What about Hulk Hogan and Bubba the Lud Sponge when he slept with his wife and they recorded it and became this big gawker scandal?
That too.
That's
too.
One.
We're not gonna put up with it, but he's back, brother, dude.
What about? And I love the guy. I'm just saying. What about Superfly Jimmy Snuka, brother? And and the situation
Snuka.
with Nancy.
Oh yeah, that Nancy Argentino chick.
Okay. I mean, but again, remember that's allegations. There was no proof. This is the story. He's still in the Hall of Fame. So I mean, like I said, when's enough's enough? When is it gonna stop? I'm surprised. Like when they talk about the Black Lives Matter movement and knocking out all these Confederate things and General Lee. I'm surprised Al Jolson is not getting pulled off the Hollywood Walk of Fame because he did blackface in the 20s.
Well,
I'm totally in agreement with that. I understand exactly where you're coming from there.
Nobody brought that shit up. Nobody's taking Gone with the Wind off TV because they had the black lady, the Aunt Jemima looking lady.
Actually, they did pull Gone with the Wind from the libraries and stuff.
HBO Max.
You can't watch it on Netflix or any of the streaming services right now. And it's weird because
what's funny
the lady that you're talking about she's from Wichita.
Yeah.
And she
Katie
was the
McDaniels,
first she was the first black lady to ever win an Emmy.
Yep.
Or Oscar or whatever.
Oscar, it was Oscar.
The first.
But the fucked up part? Then if that's the case, are you gonna remove all the presidents from back in the days? Because half those motherfuckers owned slaves. So you're going to pull off Lincoln.
Well, what I think's funny about
Washington,
the Aunt Jemima stuff is that her family is really proud of the fact that she's on that. She's on those balls. And they're pissed that they're taking her off there. They're like, no,
I'm never going to buy Aunt Jemima again, man. I'm not going to, I bought it because a black ass was on it. What are you going to do? Take the black guy off the Uncle Ben's box? Are you going to take the black dude off the... They did?
Yeah, Uncle Ben's.
They took Uncle Ben down. He's gone.
Same time they did with Aunt Jemima.
Are they gonna do that with the Quaker guy? The fucking no more Quaker Oats motherfucker on the cover? That's the case.
No more Quaker Oats, motherfucker.
Are they gonna take the fucking tiger with the Casberry egg? Or the fucking raw?
That's awesome.
Because he's fucking portraying that he's a rabbit. Come on, man, that's enough, bro. I could say it. The Black Lives Matter movement, yes, it's important, but a lot of the stuff in that shit is bullshit. And if anybody got issues, I'm on Facebook. You can reach.
I think the message is right, but the organization isn't pushing that message.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between the two.
Hell of a deal. Well,
I just feel that this is going to be like in the movie Demolition Man. Yeah. That's how I feel this world's going to be. We're going to be wiping our ass with fucking shells.
Well, as we wrap up here, Angel,
Don't even wrap up. You fell off like 40 minutes ago. You still owe me 40 minutes of fucking airtime.
how do we find your stuff? How do we get the podcast, and when do you start with Russo and everything?
Well, you can definitely find us on Wrestling with Tragedy on YouTube. We'll also definitely go to the Vince Russo's brand, and we're definitely on there. We're about to be on there real soon. We're just finalizing some to the timeline of when we're going to be on. But again, you can find myself on Facebook. A.Medina 262 on Facebook. A.Medina 262 on Instagram. I do have a TikTok, but I don't dance on that motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know anything about TikTok.
You know.
I've got
a porn career. Those 15-second things. That's about all I could do anyway.
I've got the Pornhub thing, and I've got the Chatterbait account, but
the what?
Chatterbait. Where other people can watch you do things, and then they can chat with you. I don't know. I've watched a few of these. I think it's kind of strange.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely need Jesus. Definitely need Jesus after Chatterbait.
But you got to send me those links. I got to check out this Pornhub thing. I want to see what you're. I got to see it.
Are you guys gonna stay on YouTube once you move over to the brand, or you get?
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna be doing. We're just trying to figure out the right move. That we're still talking to Vince Russo to see how we'd be able to play that out. If it's just gonna be on his brand only, which again, that's fine. You know, again, that's just still a voice, and So we just got a lot on the table that we're still trying to iron out.
Oh, I got you.
Well, that's cool.
And hey, Jiggy, I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh yeah,
but you tell the Mangler. Have his agent call my agent. Maybe we'll do lunch.
Yes.
See if we can maybe do a painted picture from Rob Schamberger to send to Angel. And...
Oh yeah, something. Yeah.
Well, it's been fun. We'll definitely do this again next week. We're supposed to have Lodi on. So
I thought he died.
No, Lodi's still around.
Oh, that was Kiwi. With the crazy hair.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They all look alike.
They all look alike.
One that Alan Funk or something, too, or something like that.
Yes, he did the Funkamaniacs, dude, and all that stuff.
You know who you should get on? Prince Iakea. Remember Prince Iakea? And then he was like the artist
formerly known as Prince Iakea. Yes.
Okay.
I'll try to track him down.
Now, was he Curtis's son, or was he not related to them or not?
That I don't know.
Because I know King Iakea had two sons, but I don't know if he was one or not. So
wow, that's a deep dive. I didn't.
Sorry, I'm a complete wrestling nerd.
No, that's good. Well, Angel, thank you, sir, and I will talk to you soon.
Absolutely, brother. Send me those links.
Yes, I'll send you those links, and at some point, I need you to. I need to get you your. He's holding that up because I'm getting ready to talk about Bad Dragon. I need to get you your Bad Dragon bag.
I know.
Still got it.
Dust on it. It's probably all dried out.
It's still here. All right, brother. Have a good night. Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it, John.
Later.
And there we go. And